My name's Jenny Tipping, and I've been in the trucking industry since 2006. And nowadays, what I do, a bit of combination of I drive trucks, teach people to drive trucks, and I'm also developing online courses for people working in male-dominated industries to learn the personal and communication skills they need to make those industries more diverse. It's kind of tricky for me to say because I've been in the industry so long, I can't actually remember what it's like in any other industry. For me, it's always just been about the job. I just really enjoy the technical skill of driving trucks and that. And by showing up every day and by talking to people about what I do, but the fact that by doing that, I'm kind of changing people's perceptions about what women can do, then that's brilliant. But for me, the most important thing has always just been I like driving trucks. It comes to actually driving, I think we're still told that women can't park and women can't reverse trailers, and on the surface we might not be quite so explicit about that nowadays. But I think underneath the surface, I think that myth still remains, and I think it undermines women's confidence when it comes to learning to drive big trucks. We carry with us a myth that technical skill and physical strength are not ladylike. I think that's a real shame, and I think it holds women back. Throughout history, women have always been strong, and I really celebrate that. And so when I am doing a physical job, whether or this physical job, or whether I'm doing sport, and when I meet other women who really enjoy being strong and being competent and at technical things, then I absolutely love it. And we're not doing these things because we're trying to be men or we're trying to beat men at their own game. We're just doing it because we love it and we are enjoying being strong as women, not as men. Businesses telling the truth about these things. I often see things which are encouraging women into the sector, telling women that they don't need to be strong. But actually, that's not really true. You know, you do need to be strong, but women can be strong. And I mean, I've never had to lift anything heavier than a 2-year-old, and women lift 2-year-olds all the time. I really don't think it's not an issue that it's beyond women's capacities. It's just whether you choose for that to be part of your job. I love the skill of reversing an Arctic, particularly Arctics. There's something absolutely really special about the way that Arctics move. And even though I've been doing it for 11 years now, then I still really enjoy that challenge. And now that I'm teaching people to drive, I love it when it just clicks. And, you know, when I've said something and they go, oh, right. And then from that point on, they always know how to reverse a trailer. And it just makes sense. And you just see them kind of coming alive, and there's a whole new world opened up to them as a result of it. And also when you're teaching people to drive trucks, then you're quite often teaching someone, you know, so that their life can change. We all remember the story of how we learned to drive and what the experience was like of learning to drive a truck, and we do talk about it sometimes. And I do really enjoy the fact that there's a whole generation of truckers in this area now where the fact that they were taught by a woman is part of that story. And so then it just kind of ripples out the idea that women can do everything. It's quite often their daughters who are really interested as well. And I love that. If I'm teaching a man and he goes home and tells his daughter I'm being taught by a woman, and it opens up her world to think, oh, I'd never thought that I could do that. Yeah, I think I had the same ideas that a lot of women have, that we think that men are going to assume that we shouldn't be there. And so that every time we make a mistake, then that the people around us are going to take that as evidence that we shouldn't be there. And that basically, if a woman makes a mistake, then she's kind of let down the whole sisterhood. Whereas if a man makes a mistake, he's just made a mistake. And I really did carry that with me, and so I didn't think that I was able to ask for help, because I thought that if even asking for help would mean that I was showing people that I shouldn't be there. But actually, what I've learned over the years is that there are some dinosaurs who do think like that, but luckily there's fewer and fewer of them, and I've seen that change quite a lot over the course, you know, the 15, 16 years that I've been in the industry. And actually, people have really willing to help, you know, if you, and so it's actually, it's fine to ask for help, as long as you're asking for help to learn. That's the most important thing, is to go into any situation thinking, I want to do the best job I can do, and I'm going to ask for the support I need in order to be that best, to do that best job. This is where my new work comes in, really, because I've spent the last few years retraining in a personal development and communication skills. So what I'm doing now, developing courses for women to learn the skills they need, but also for men to learn the skills that they need to be better allies. So, for example, if a young woman walks into a meeting and not only is she the only woman, but everyone else is older than her, which quite often happens in the logistics industry, not only is she nervous for her own self, because it's maybe a new thing, that it's the first time that she's done that, but she's also carrying with her the weight of history, of all these stories that we inherit about what women should be able to do and what women can do. The course I've got coming out in July is called Show Up, Speak Out, and it's specifically for that situation. So it's about recognizing exactly what the stories are that you're bringing, recognizing your own fears, recognizing what it is that you're really longing for in that situation, and then finding strategies to meet that. So that's one I've got coming up for women, but also I'm interested in allyship. And that's not just for men. Obviously, in male-dominated industries, then it's primarily about men being good allies for women, but also it's about white people, straight people, able-bodied people. So anybody who's in a privileged position or a dominant group. So it's about working out, really listening and learning what it's like for somebody else, and making that situation better for them. We didn't actually create the world as it is now. Every day we do recreate it, and we don't necessarily realize what we're doing to recreate it. And so what I'm doing is working out exactly what it is that we do to recreate that world, and so that we can stop doing that and start creating a new one, a world that works for everybody. And it is of benefit for everybody. This isn't a kind of zero-sum game where if one group wins, starts to get more power, and then another one has to lose it. That's not the way it works. I think empowerment it works in favor of everybody. That I'm developing on a platform called Teachable is communication for diversity, with 4 as a number 4. And I've already got a free course which is available to anybody at the moment, and that's called Banter or Bullying, Where Do You Draw Your Line? And so I've already had quite a lot of people sign up for that. And I'm also findable on social media, either as Jenny Tipping or Communication for Diversity. So I'd love to hear from people.